Hey, greetings and salutations. So, in this video, I'm going to be doing the Intellitronix part number BG604W, a digital dash conversion for your 1973 through 92 Chevrolet pickup trucks, the square bodies. And the reason why I'm doing this is probably one of the reasons why you're watching this video. Maybe your gauges don't work anymore. Maybe your speedometer cable doesn't work anymore. You know, a lot of times it's, you know, the gauges are looking a little bit long in the tooth, and yeah, you just want something a little more modern or up to date. In my case, I left this thing sit out in the sun baking for too many years without a dash or an interior in it, and it just cooked all the wiring, and I haven't been able to get it to work, and I don't want to make it work either. I want to update it. The first thing I need to do is get the old gauge cluster out. We'll go through the whole process and show you what comes with the kit and all that happy hoo-ha. But for starters, I need to get the original one out. Alright, so if your gauge cluster looks anything like this, you know, deep scratches in the bezel and light scratches that dull the bezel, you know. Yeah, you can clean these up and polish the bezels, and you can even buy bezels. The aftermarket makes new ones, but you're still left with the old gauges. And here's the biggest problem, is that these printed circuit boards can be problematic. These little lamp holders, well, there's a burnt out one. That's, by the way, how you pull the lamp out of the lamp holder. That's how you change those. But they can break. They get brittle and they can break. It has a mechanical speedometer, so there's a cable that comes in and interfaces with this, and there's little plastic inserts that go in there, and those get lost, and you end up, I don't think I've ever had a working speedometer. That's not true. It worked when I first got it, but I haven't had a working speedometer in this thing in 20 years anyway. When did I get this? 99? So yeah, after the frame off, speedometer didn't work. And now none of the gauges work. So what I got to do is I need to pull the bezel off, the face here, the lens cover, if you will, and then get into here and then pull all the internal workings out of here. It's also worth noting that you can wire these directly into your existing wire harness, or you can wire it independently of your wire harness. The kit comes with everything you need to do that. So here's your hardware for here. A ground wire. This is a temperature sender. Temperature sender for the engine coolant temperature. We have a vehicle speed sensor, or I would imagine this is a vehicle speed sensor. Screws into your transmission. Brass adapter for your coolant temperature sender, and a oil pressure sensor, I would imagine. Yep, oil pressure sensor. I think it's time for a new Dremel. That one's about as old as this truck is. Well, it looks like I need to relief this up here. Okay, after reading the instructions thoroughly and seeing how this thing is supposed to go together, come to the conclusion that my particular unit is going to need some modification. And the first modification is going to be up towards the top between the tack and the speedometer, because the plastic face plate that's got to go back on is interfering with looks like some MOSFETs. So and you can see here that this, if I would elected to go with the original type temperature sender that just had a digital readout, these gauges, well, first of all, this project would be done already, but these gauges wouldn't have this bar graph, right? But because I wanted those, now these aren't exactly fitting in place here, so I need to make this one bigger so it fits the gauge face, and I need to cut this one out because it's obscuring the gauge face. And then I'm probably gonna have to do the same thing with these, open these up a bit, but I'm also going to have to get some longer standoffs so that they're this looks like about almost 3/4 of an inch standoff, and I got a 1/4 inch standoff here, so So I'm working on this. It doesn't look like it's going to get done today. That's okay, because I got a bunch of wiring I need to do. But I am going to try to get this gauge put together in this video, and then part 2 we'll do the wiring. Such is life, man. Sometimes you just need to make it work. This particular gauge cluster is supposed to cover 1973 through 1987, and my particular model is a 1989 crew cab, which shouldn't be that different from the 1987 square bodies, but apparently it is a little bit. So now I got to modify. So I think I got it fitting pretty good right now. And these are the modifications I've had to make to this to get this blackout plate, that's what I'll call it, to fit. I've had to relief cut this right here, and then I had to relief cut a little bit more to clear. I believe these are MOSFETs. I don't know. I'm not an electrical engineer, but this little cylinder dealio and that little black dealio to get that thing to fit flat. I've had to make these holes a little bit larger. I had to clean them up a little bit so that this plastic bit can fit flush with the mounting holes. And it looks like I might have to relief cut this one a little bit more to get this corner to sit down flush. I need to go through and clean this all up. You know, it's pretty dirty, but I also need to clean up the edges where I cut. And what I used, these gauge faces are 2 inches, and I have a 2 1/8 diamond encrusted bit for cutting tile. I bought this to do a couple of holes in the bus, and first thing I did was I drilled this into a piece of plywood, and then I, laid it up there and used it as a guide to push that through the plastic. I'm not going to recommend you do that, but I want these gauges bad enough so I'm willing to make some modifications to my unit to make this stuff work. So I'm going to clean this up. Realistically, if you wanted to do this and you had a perfectly good functioning instrument cluster, you don't need to tear yours apart to do this. The aftermarket makes all these parts. So you could go to a company like LMC Truck. I looked last night. They sell all these components individually. You can buy just the bucket, the gauge cluster bucket. You can buy just this piece here. You can buy them with that 4th hole for the clock already drilled in it, so you don't have to do what I did. And you can get a new lens. And I'll probably end up doing that, but I just don't want to throw $50 at it right now, and that's what the lens costs, $50. So I'll try to polish this thing up. Okay, so this is what I have. I took the 1/4 inch spacers out. They came with the kit. I put 1/2 inch spacers in. I tried running 3/4 of an inch, but it's, there's this dealio right here that is protrudes just a little bit higher than this, and there's other things that are in the way. It just wasn't working, so I went to 1/2 inch, and this seems to work fine. So now, did I push everything into place? Yep. So now I need to figure out how I'm going to attach these. So one goes here, one goes here, and then these are the smoked lens, and that makes it so you can't see the gauges when the gauges aren't on. So you're not looking into the green bits there. And that goes on there like so. These are probably going to be trip reset and calibration for the speedometer. And I need to get 2 weather pack connectors, male, female for both. And I can wire up all the wiring for the sensors. But in the meantime, I'm going to have to drain some coolant to get the temperature sensor in. And this is the temperature sensor that comes with the kit, along with a bushing, brass bushing. They recommend that you do not use Teflon tape or sealant on these because the ground comes from the block through the sensor. So I'm going to have to drain some coolant to get this in. I'm thinking I might have to make an adapter for my oil temp, for my oil pressure sensor. If it was a small block engine, wouldn't be a problem. I'd just take the old sensor out from behind the distributor and put this in. But on the older big blocks, let me show you the issue. So normally, like on a small block, right behind the distributor is where the boss for the oil pressure sensor would be. And I just take off the factory one, screw this into the block. But this one, on this big block, yeah, I can't even see it from here. Way down in there. I don't think I'm going to be able to get it in there. I've got a mechanical gauge in there right now. You know, realistically, I could have probably put this thing together without having those top 2 gauges sticking out the extra ½ an inch. And it probably would have worked just fine, but if I'm going to do it, might as well do it right. So I had to do a little bit of modifying to make this setup fit my application. You might have to do that too, and that's just the way it goes, man. That's just the way it goes. So in the next episode, I'm going to be putting in the sensors and getting it ready for the wiring. If you liked this video and found it informative, smash the like button. If you didn't like this video and you thought it sucked, smash the like button and then share it with your vast social media network. If you haven't subscribed yet, click the sub button and the little bell icon. That way you'll be notified the next time I upload a video. If you want to support the channel, there's a few ways you can do that down in the description. Check those out, see if that's something you want to do, and if you can, thank you in advance, and if you can't, well, probably means we're cousins. So until next time, you have fun, stay safe, shoot straight, keep your powder dry. Have a splendid day. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.